Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, and our top story. Residents and businesses on the island of St. Thomas will be elated to hear that the Federal Highway Administration and the Virgin Islands Department of Public Works have resolved the issues surrounding the federal funding of the Main Street Enhancement Project. A press conference held today by Commissioner Gustav James shared information on the project and its resolved issues. Here's more.
The press conference held by Commissioner Gustav James, the Department of Public Works Commissioner for the Virgin Islands, gave an update on the Main Street Enhancement Project.
We have resolved this issue. Federal funding has been established. Note that in this case, work was not halted on the project because we were always confident that the facts were clear and well documented, and that these clear facts would result in the federal government's concurrence that the project is eligible for federal funding. Yesterday, we received written confirmation from the federal government that the Federal Highway Administration does in fact agree that Main Street Enhancement Project is eligible for funding as originally planned.
Commissioner James said in the press conference that a letter from Westchester and Fire Insurance Company that verified the validity of the bond was sent to the Federal Highway Administration, which helped get the process going.
This document, this letter from Westchester, was of course immediately forwarded to the Federal Highway Administration, and the Federal Highway Administration then responded to me on December 7th, yesterday, stating, "Dear Commissioner James, thank you for your response dated December 2nd, 2016. We agree. The bond issued to Tip Top appears valid and meets applicable laws associated with this project. Federal funds are no longer suspended for this project."
Richard Dorsey, News 2.
Now, with the funding issue resolved for the Main Street Enhancement Project, Commissioner James closed the conference with remarks that Tip Top Construction Company was the lowest bidder and discussed the benefits of engaging in fair bidding practices which are beneficial to the public, government, and interested parties. Small contractors were encouraged to contact the department for more information on bidding projects. Meanwhile, Department of Public Works, they're advising the motoring public that on Wednesday, December 14th from 9 a.m. to 12, the Scott-Free Road leading from the Clearview area to Scott-Free intersection to the Upper Scott-Free Road going towards Four Corners will be closed to all through traffic. The Department of Public Works will be repairing potholes on this roadway. There will be local access only for residential and emergency traffic during those hours, and motorists are asked to seek alternate routes to avoid delays. Now, it is anticipated that the road repairs will be completed by midday on Wednesday, December 14th. Well, with the funding, the Department of Tourism, just a quick note, will be holding a USVI Tourism Holiday Community event. That's on Friday, December 9th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. rather, as we mentioned earlier this week. So therefore, VIPD reminds everyone that General Gata will be closed from the area of USO to the intersection of General Gata and Comprincens Gata, and they are inviting the public to come out and revel with them, as they will also have entertainment and local sampling for their guests. So keep that in mind, December 9th from 9 to 12. In accordance with standard safety procedures and regulations, 7 Head Start, located on Silk Gata in the Romeo Malone Center, they dismissed classes today, and it was effective immediately due to plumbing issues. Parents were asked to pick their children up as soon as possible, and Head Start Assistant Administrator Masikia Lewis said that they are waiting for plumbing assessment before she's able to give a definitive answer on whether classes will resume tomorrow or not. She will have a better idea about the current situation by the end of business day today, so be sure to tune in. Parents are asked to contact the school to stay informed, so you can call them directly. The contact information is 340-774-5370 or 774-0930, extension 4200. WICO's outlook for the cruise tourism this season is optimistic, so says the CEO, Joseph Bishelti. And he said he is confident that cruise tourism overall will continue to play a significant role in the overall tourism revenue projections in the territory. Earlier this year in January and again in April, WICO entered into preferred berthing agreements with Carnival Corporation and Norwegian Carnival Lines, respectively. He says they have been diligently working to upgrade the dock for the cruise liner partners and to enhance the passengers' shopping experience with several major multi-million-dollar capital improvement projects. Here's more.
Over the past several months, the West Indian Company has engaged in 2 significant capital improvement projects here at facilities in Haven site and at the WICO dock. The first project is a roughly $10.5 million project to replace the innermost bulkhead, 750 feet, which is the area closest to Yacht Haven Grand, between Yacht Haven Grand and the West Indian Company dock. And we have also replacing 28 bullards, which are the iron knobs that the ships tie up to, replacing them with 150-ton bullards. That project is expected to be fully complete early next year. The second project is a collaboration project between the GERS and the West Indian Company doing some mall replace renovations. And if you have an opportunity, it's about a little under a $2 million project. It's the first phase where we've made some changes in exit walkways from the ships into the mall, improved our landscaping, and lastly, we're going to be changing a few of the entrance points on and off the property. And then, like I said, both of these projects are meant to basically upgrade our looks and increase our safety throughout the property.
Be sure to count on 2. We will keep you updated on the upgrades. Meanwhile, WICO will be welcoming on Monday, December 12th, the P&O Cruises MV Britannia for the first time. MV Britannia is a cruise ship of the P&O Cruises fleet. She was built in Italy at 143,000 gross tons. Britannia is the largest of 7 ships currently in service with P&O Cruises, and she is also the flagship of the fleet. She officially entered service in 2015. The ship capacity, 4,324 passengers, crew, 1,398 officers and crew. Turning to the crime reports, on Thursday, November 19th at approximately 10:30 p.m., 911 emergency call center dispatch St. Croix police units to Estate Betty's Hope Beach in vicinity of the old Texaco Fuel Depot in response to a discharging of shots, and this is our Crime Stoppers report. Responding officers discovered a white Chevy pickup truck engulfed in flames, which was later extinguished by VI Fire Service. VIPD detectives discovered a charred body of a male individual inside the vehicle, who was later identified as Julian Morla. Police are asking anyone with information regarding these cases to contact Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-8477 or submit a web tip or at 3tips.com, and you may earn a reward in the process. 7 p.m. on Thursday, December 15th, during the Christmas tree lighting ceremony at Cruz Bay, Vitima's director Mona Barnes will be on hand, and she'll be handing over keys to a new 2017 ambulance to St. John Rescue Squad. After closely assessing the needs of first responders, she said, they reprogrammed funds to enhance medical transportation services on St. John. The Type 1 ambulance, which was purchased for $126,000, utilizing Homeland Security Grant Program federal funding, St. John Rescue will use the ambulance to support the Department of Health's emergency medical services during normal operations and will provide additional patient transport capability during disaster response operations. Vitima was also able to secure additional Homeland Security grant funding to purchase medical supplies and equipment for Water Island Rescue, approximately $21,000 in medical supplies. The VI government has sued Takeda and Honda Motor Corp over the sale of thousands of cars in the VI that have faulty airbags. We have reported that earlier this year. Also, a lawsuit now has been filed in federal district court on St. Croix over the death of 19-year-old Shanika Gore, who was killed in a car accident on New Year's Day in 2015. The suit argues that she died when the passenger side airbag of the 2009 Chevrolet Aveo she was riding in failed to deploy when the car hit a Jeep Grand Cherokee on Northside Road. Now, Takeda has been hit with numerous recalls and lawsuits over the airbags, including a class action suit by 3 other residents. In September this year, Honda car owners were asked to get their airbags checked and replaced by Honda technicians during a 3-day Honda Acura repairathon. About 10 deaths have been listed in the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump began his Thursday at Trump Tower, holding meetings to fill positions in his administration. But once again, it's a series of tweets by the president-elect, this time about a union leader in Indiana, that is getting the most attention. Elwin Lopez breaks down the latest news on the president-elect in this report from Washington, D.C.
Donald Trump continues to build his administration. He's tapping Oklahoma Attorney General and climate change denier Scott Pruitt to head the EPA.
Attorney General Pruitt has great qualifications and a good record as the AG of Oklahoma.
Retired General John Kelly to head the Department of Homeland Security, and Andrew Puzder as Secretary of Labor. Tonight, the president-elect resumes what he calls his thank you tour in Des Moines, where he will formally introduce Iowa Governor Terry Branstad as his pick for ambassador to China. But the news of his cabinet choices are being eclipsed by yet another Twitter tirade. This time with Indiana union leader Chuck Jones, who said in an interview that Trump inflated the number of jobs he said he would save at air conditioning giant Carrier.
They're counting in 350 some odd more than we're never leaving this country at all. If you're dealing with people's livelihoods, you sure as the world ought to know what the numbers are.
Trump responded on Twitter saying, quote, Chuck Jones, who is president of United Steelworkers 1999, has done a terrible job representing workers. No wonder companies flee country. And if Union Steelworkers 1999 was any good, they would have kept those jobs in Indiana. Spend more time working, less time talking, reduce dues. Jones says he believes Trump overreacted in his tweet, but that he remains grateful that the president-elect helped 800 jobs remain in Indianapolis. In Washington, I'm Elwin Lopez.
Keeping our eye on the economy, Delta could be bringing back a major perk: free meals in coach. The airline is testing the service to passengers flying between New York and Los Angeles or San Francisco. The menu changes by time of day. Morning travelers could be offered a honey maple breakfast sandwich. For afternoon flyers, a mesquite smoked turkey sandwich or whole grain veggie wrap. The testing period ends December 15th. Delta has not yet determined if the free meals will become standard. Here's a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, we can see the Dow up 65, NASDAQ 23, S&P 500 also up at 4. Coming up on News 2, holiday news, what you can mark on your holiday calendar. Plus, if you are interested or in need of data and research, you can connect with Island Analytics and Marketing via their website. We'll have details on that. Welcome back. Well, some business news here. Are you interested or in need of data and research? Well, you can connect with a new business launch. Richard Dorsey has more. Pace with a digital world. Island Analytics and Marketing seeks to increase the amount of available data for the Virgin Islands and Caribbean region.
We're a Virgin Islands-based data company, meaning we start with 3 levels. We do data collection and gathering, whether it's the polling, the interviews, the questions, just gathering that information from the ground level. Then it's analytics and research, going in the office, crunching the hard numbers, finding the variables at different steps for different issues. And our last phase is media support. That's where we help craft the message. You need more data in the Virgin Islands. Sometimes you find data. There's different entities that give us data. So there's UVI, there's EDA, there's BER, and there's all the studies that's national. But where's our local statistics? So if you're not creating mechanisms to communicate with everyone equally, you're going to lose information in the process. So where we excel is that we understand those nuances.
The data company is focused on growing an industry that provides opportunities for young people.
So it's not only creating new jobs, it's creating new job skills. So we need data analysts, I'm going to need data entry people, I'm going to need telecommunications specialists, I'm going to need more operations people. So eventually we're going to grow enough so that young people know there's a new, modern, maybe a little bit fun, a type of job environment where you can use your new critical social media skills in real world applications. I'm not in it for the Ferrari, I'm in it to grow the competition and to create the industry. I would rather see the intern that starts with me be a department head in 4 years than someone who spends their entire career just at data entry.
Now, if you are interested in connecting with them, the website is www.islandanalyticsvi.com, or you can email them at islandanalyticsvi.gmail.com. Well, the FBI said it arrested Victor Manuel Ortiz Diaz, the recently re-elected mayor of Puerto Rico's Guaynabo municipality, on Wednesday for alleged corruption. FBI spokesman Carlos Osorio said Ortiz Diaz was arrested without incident at 6:30 a.m. at his luxury home in Guaynabo Ciudad Jardín neighborhood. Osorio said the mayor is being investigated for allegedly receiving bribes from contractors, an accusation first reported in January. Ortiz Diaz was re-elected following the November 8th general election. He received 62% of the vote, Puerto Rico State Elections Commission reported. Also looking across the Caribbean, on the afternoon of December 6th, Trinidad and Tobago experienced a strong earthquake, reportedly 5.8 in magnitude, lasting as long as a minute. According to some reports, the quake was originally thought to be as high as 6.2. Its epicenter originated 16 kilometers southeast of Scarborough, Tobago's capital city, at a depth of 29 kilometers. But many citizens across both islands felt its effects. Citizens from both Trinidad and Tobago posted videos of their experiences on Facebook. Despite the quake's vigor, there were no reports of injuries or serious damage, although a hotel in Port of Spain experienced some breakage and one popular grocery had much of its stock fall off the shelves. Well, the humongous Christmas tree was officially lit, kicking off the Christmas season for those in attendance at the West Indian Company Limited as they hosted their 32nd annual Christmas tree lighting at Havenside Mall on the West Indian Company dock. This year's event featured performances from many school bands, other bands, vendors, shopping, and of course Santa. The day-long community festivities began at about 12 noon with an all-day mini Christmas village. The Aida Vida was in port, the Disney Fantasy, and Royal Princess. Well, the Red Kettle campaign is off to a very good start, and you and your organization can sign up and give your time. Now, you don't have to stand still to ring those bells, as demonstrated right there. Captain Kevin Bryan, the Salvation Army's regional coordinator for the VI and pastor for the Salvation Army St. Thomas, and Bassie Archibald, youth music coordinator for the Salvation Army of St. Thomas. They're feeling the Christmas spirit as they dance and even lip sync, reminding everyone that it is the most wonderful time of the year. There are two new captains on board, Krista and Kevin Bryan, who are new to the territory, regional coordinator, VI, TSA pastor, St. Thomas Corps. Now, here are the locations in which you can find those red kettles: Cosuless, Food Center, Walgreens, Kmart, both locations. Tabletop kettles, you can find them at First Bank, all branches on all 3 islands. Red Hook Mail Service, also look out for them at Miracle on Main Street coming up. Now, to donate your time, you can call the Salvation Army, the captain, Krista Bryan, at 340-776-0070, or Mary Ann Brown, Donor Relations Development Director, at 340-513-1617. Some great news from Complex High School as some students demonstrate some artwork. Here's more.
Participants would come to my class during lunchtime, and my students would photograph the work, or they would bring photographs, and we would ask them questions like, you know, what is their cultural contribution, their favorite color, you know, just different aspects of their lives, their hobbies and stuff like that. And we collaborated we put all of it together, and my students created a collage. You know, they use watercolor paint to paint the background, pastels, and just put it all together. It is so important that especially our youngsters learn about individuals in the community who are contributing to the culture of our community. Not just those in the past, but those in the present. So that is our focus.
Great job there by our students. Job well done. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well, as we take a look at the satellite, we can see that big plume of moisture that I was talking about earlier this week. It's begun to shift over the Windward Islands, and it's moving relatively quickly. Now, that uptick in moisture, maybe just slightly over the U.S. islands, but really not looking at an increase in showers due to this plume of moisture. But our biggest weather maker, we do have a large area of high pressure out over the Atlantic, and the rotation around that is bringing us that light to moderate trade wind flow. So take a closer look. A lot of activity out towards windwards with that big area of moisture pushing into the west. But overall, the U.S. Virgin Islands going to be staying pretty dry throughout the next couple of days. And into tonight, we're seeing some partly cloudy conditions. Our lows right around 77 degrees. Can't rule out those chances of sprinkles. And then as we head towards tomorrow with that light to moderate trade wind flow, it's going to be slightly breezy, and then we'll have a shower or two around St. John's, and that also extends down into St. Thomas. Now we're getting a mixture of clouds and sun across most of the islands down into St. Croix as well. Those spotty showers continuing. Now the light to moderate trade wind flow causing these winds to kick up just a touch. We're out of the east 10 to 15 knots in our waves, 3 to 5 feet on the Atlantic side. That's what's causing this small craft use caution in effect. But now on the Caribbean side, we're seeing very similar numbers, but the swell's not lasting as long and this gust not as strong out on the Caribbean side of things. So still seeing some winds out of the east, 10 to 15 knots, waves 3 to 5 feet. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Looks for the most part will remain in this pretty steady trade wind flow pattern from Friday into your Saturday as well as your Sunday. So not going to rule out those chances of showers, but overall they will be few as well as spotty, and that's going to extend into early next week as well. Back to you, Sandy.
Thanks for that. Sativa Paul of Ricardo Richards shares this picture, and we can't miss the beautiful bright sunshine there in the corner, but a little bit of rain, and maybe that umbrella is for shade or the rain. Sativa, we welcome both. We love it. Thank you for that. Send us your News 2 weather picture to the address on the screen. Be sure to include what we need, and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for now. Thank you for joining us. For all the latest, I'm Sandra Guman saying have a wonderful evening.